right. Welcome to my podcast. No, I'm kidding. We're not switching to that. But I want to be able to share this. Before you move, three things I wish someone had told me. And I have wanted to say something about random things before, but years before I thought nobody needs to hear this, especially people who retire are much older than I am and they don't need to get wisdom from me. But apparently, the things I learned the hard way, because I keep moving from one city to the other, may be of value to others who want to move. Because most of the time, it's not about age. Wisdom can come from experience. So let's talk about what I think you should know before you move. And this can be specific to Iloilo, maybe applicable to other cities in the Philippines, or maybe even just applicable to any move, moving to another village, another state, anywhere. And I'm not trying to claim through this that I am better than anyone or that I thought about these three things and I do this all the time. I make mistakes. And what I know is I've made so many mistakes in these moves. I had no guide. I move alone, I travel alone, and I had to learn things on my own. And yeah, I know I'm better than someone I know, and that someone is who I was years ago before I learned these. So, if anything, I want to be able to help in a smooth transition for those who can appreciate these three tips. So, let's jump into the first one, which is well, number one, before you complain and be racist about it, think first if it's really isolated to Iloilo or the Philippines or wherever you are, whichever city or country you move to. Because, okay, I'm not even gonna say don't be racist. That's like saying don't be you. Because if you're racist, you're racist. I can't tell you don't be racist. You can recover, I don't know how. But most people are racist. I've come to understand that, and people generalize, people look at stereotypes. And yes, generalizations and stereotypes, they come from somewhere. My point is, you need to be smart about your opinions. Not for anything else, but that your opinion shapes the way you react to things. Your opinion shapes the way you live your life. It defines how peaceful your everyday is going to be, how much you love your life, or how much you hate it. And if you have unfounded hate for the place you live in, and you decide to move, and then you realize, oh, what I hated in the last place is also here. Maybe I shouldn't have hated that other place too much. Maybe I shouldn't have moved. Maybe I shouldn't have shown that much hate. Maybe I should have shown a little grace, a little compassion, a little consideration. And I'll give you an example. So there was a guy who complained about teenagers. So he said hi, and the teenagers said, go home. And he was hurt. And then some people started saying kids in the Philippines or this and that. And have you not met kids in other countries? And I mean, in other countries, you swear all the kids are well behaved. All these movies about misbehaving teens all came from fiction, right? I mean, most kids are monsters. That's why a lot of people don't want to have kids. And am I saying it's okay to happen here because it happens everywhere? No, it's not okay. If I say there's poverty everywhere, does it mean I'm saying it's okay? But what will you do? It's a fact. Do you stick it in your head that the Philippines is a bad place because it has bad kids? Bad things happen everywhere. You need to have a perspective about it. Otherwise, you're gonna hate your life. Oh my God, there are bad kids in the Philippines. I hate the Philippines. My life will be so much better if I'm not here. And if you're stuck here, then you have that in your head. And then imagine Okay, you're not stuck here. Imagine you leave the Philippines and move back to wherever you came from and discover that there are bad kids there too. What a waste, right? Of time, of opportunity, and all you needed was to have a perspective, a broader look at things, a better understanding of the facts of life and of the world, and you would have been fine. Next thing, number two, you need to know what the culture is in the city you're going to. So, if you're moving to Iloilo, for example, Iloilo is laid back. And that sounds cool, but you need to know what goes with being laid back, what it means in positive and negative terms. So, here's what Ilonggos don't fight back a lot. They don't like to argue. So, sometimes they don't discuss. They don't tell you when they don't like things. They don't complain. Of course, there are times they do. We're talking about the rule, though, not the exception. And so, the customer service here sucks. Okay, hold on. The customer service here needs improvement. And it doesn't help that most Ilonggos are very laid back. They're very nice. They don't complain, they just accept. So the customer service does not improve. Oh, we are at a convenience store and my break is 15 minutes because I work in a call center. And as a clerk of the convenience store at 2 a.m., you know that most customers are from the call centers, but you're moving in slow mo. The Ilongga customer will not complain. Oh, you're at Jollibee and the cashiers at Jollibee is taking a while to take the payment because they're arguing amongst themselves about whatever's wrong with the register and it's fixed, it can be used, but they need to argue while you're there. The Ilongga customer will not complain. And so now, as the foreigner, it is your culture, it is your instinct to complain. So you can complain. But when you complain, you need to be mild about it. You need to be a bit laid back, sort of passive aggressive. You can't be overly mad, hysterical, shouting, nothing. No. You'll be shunned as the odd one out, the toxic one. And you know, toxic is subjective. But of course, in the perspective of laid back people, when you become hysterical, you are toxic and you won't belong. So, this is a place of think before you speak and breathe before you react and say it nicely and be kind. It's also uncommon for Ilongas to be confrontational. So sometimes you think there's no opposition, but there actually is, and you're unaware. So you need to really check, and you need to check yourself. And yeah, it does sound difficult to navigate, and it is, especially if you're coming from a more straightforward culture. But as long as you know that you had the right intention and you're improving the way you communicate so that you don't offend people, I guess that's really all you can do. And if you slip, just get up, try again, improve again. And always just know that you're a work in progress. Don't judge yourself too much. But just never be this hateful person who just believes that everyone else is at fault because when you move, Iloilo, the Philippines, any other country, any other city will not adjust to you. All right, third thing. If you're making a list of the things you hate, you don't need to stop. You can have a list of the things you hate, but you have to remember you need to have a list of how to react better to the things that you hate. And while you're at it, while you're making these lists, make a list of the things you love. And let's say the hate list is just so long compared to the love list. Then you have to think about moving on. Go to a different city, different country. The world is your oyster, they say. If you can afford to live here, there's a different place you can afford to live at too. We're not the cheapest place on earth. The main idea is don't let yourself live your days hating the place you're in. I know I know someone who counts the things that he hates. And he would say, that's the first thing that went wrong today. I'm sure there's more. I'm looking forward to the rest in his sarcastic tone. And he complains about every little thing. He doesn't say anything about how clean Iloilo is. He doesn't say anything about how aesthetic a restaurant is. His mind is focused on what's wrong. What didn't go well? What didn't he like? And there are people who walk around doing the same thing. And I imagine, what the motherfucking shit kind of life is that? Okay, I'm not supposed to say that, but really. So tell me what you think about these three. And again, let's review that. So the first is, before you complain and be racist about it, think first if it's really isolated to the place that you're in. Second is, you need to know what the culture is in the city you're going to and what it means in positive and negative terms. And the third, if you're making a list of things you hate, you need to have a list of how to react better to the things that you hate. And you also need to have a list of the things you love. All right, so I hope this was of value to all of you who are listening. And if you have any comments about this, please tell me in the comment section. And please like and subscribe. And you want to listen to this again, please do so. Thank you very much. And I hope you have a great day. I hope this would help you in your move.